Welcome or welcome back to WatchAdvisor on YouTube, where the watches are the stars. But today it is a superstar that will come on your screen. 25 years, you know what I'm talking about. With me is Timo Bobe. He's Director of Manufacturing at Lange Söhne. Hello, Timo.
Hello, very warm welcome, and I'm looking forward to show you the watches.
We are discovering the 25th anniversary of the Lange Söhne Datograph, of course. Initially launched, of course, in 1999, if you go back. And it's a coincidence that also Tino is 25 years now working for Lange Söhne, and he also joined the company in 1999. So we have two. He's celebrating 25 years, and that watch that you will see now is just stunning. I promise you, you might have never seen anything comparable before. So in case you are a little bit scared about watch porn, skip the video. If not, watch it. Have fun.
Don't forget to subscribe and to hit the bell to get our latest notifications.
So on your screen now, that piece everybody's talking about here in Geneva on Watches and Wonders. This is the beautifulest ever made chronograph. I dare to say this because, yeah, some would say, no, it's not true, but I can say it is the case. Timo, let us, before we turn around and we show you the backside, and this is really the beauty of that piece, and the only flaw of the watch is that you can't wear it the other way around. I'm always saying they should improve the case in the terms that you can wear the watch with the movement side. But before we do this, I want to run you through the dial and the integrated push pieces on the watch so you do understand what you have here. This is a perpetual calendar, Timo.
Yes.
It is a tourbillon.
Yes.
It is a chronograph.
Yes, you're completely right.
What more?
The only thing is that the tourbillon you can't see from the dial side.
This is not a flaw, this is good.
Then you have to turn the watch to see it from the movement side. But yes, we try to bring everything into most complicated turbograph to celebrate this 25 years anniversary. And it's right, if you look on the dial side, first thing you see, it's a chronograph. You see the chrono second hand moving. And for us, it's not only a chronograph. No, it's a chronograph with flyback and with exactly jumping minute counter.
We will show this then. Let us now go on the sub counters. Let me start with the sub counter on this side.
You can see, first of all, moving, it's a small second.
Small second. It's reaching 60 now.
Then you see in the middle the day and night indication, which is necessary to adjust precisely the watch.
Yes, you have a blue and white disc indicating day and night.
And then you see the day of the week indication.
Yes, here's the day of the week. Clearly visible, all the dates. Why is it white? Because it's superluminova. Yes. This will be the surprise later on when we show the loom shot of this watch, and this will be really something crazy. So there we have the actual 30-minute counter of the chronograph. We are lucky. Look, when the central second hand will reach 60, you will see that it jumps exactly in the same second. Attention, this will happen now.
Precisely.
Precisely. Tuck. Then we have...
Then you have the month indication. And as it is related to, it's a leap year indication.
You need that to, since it is a perpetual calendar.
Exactly, and to know which year has 28 and which has 29 days in February, like this year was a leap year.
It's a leap year. Moon phase at 6 o'clock?
Yes, moon phase at 6 o'clock with one accuracy until there's 1 day difference between the mechanism here and the nature.
122 years, great. And of course, the legendary big date indication of Lange.
The outsize date,
exactly. And you do also see the discs that do together show the date. You have 1, 2, 3, and nothing here. There's not for if it is the first, the second until the 10th, you have the blank disc.
Yes.
And this is the big disc rotating from 1 to 0.
And all these indications are jumping instantaneously. And another plus is, if you left the watch a few days in your safe and you have to adjust the watch, it's very easy because you have the push piece at 10 o'clock, and by pushing you advance all the calendar indications 1 day forward. There is even a security mechanism in, what means before pushing on the push piece you have to pull out the crown, then the security system is deactivated, and then you can advance all these calendar indications by one push, one day forward.
There are more correctors?
Yes, there are recessed push pieces to adjust each indication of the perpetual calendar individually.
If necessary.
If necessary. If you played around and you have to do the correction, no problem, no need to go to the watchmaker.
Same here, and there's one hidden push piece here. And of course then start, stop and reset. And since it is a flyback chronograph, flyback means that you can reset the measurement of a chronograph without stopping it before. So I will use the reset button and you will see everything starts from zero.
Exactly.
The 30-minute counter resetted, oh, it's always a hand disturbing us. This is Murphy's Law, as I always say. So I will just take the hand away. But you clearly saw when I pushed the reset button that everything centered correctly to zero. Now it is time to turn the watch around.
You see, first of all, the tourbillon, where you saw before on the dial just the print tourbillon, but here it's really prominent on stage, the big tourbillon cage. And you see it's beautiful coming out in terms of aesthetics from the movement, because we decided to leave the surface underneath just sandblasted to really highlight this polished tourbillon cage and balance wheel.
It's a 1 minute tourbillon.
It's a 1 minute tourbillon, exactly, and equipped with our patented stop function to really be able precisely setting the watch.
I will show you what
wound.
Timo is talking about. So when you pull out the crown, you will see that the tourbillon cage stops.
It's immediately stopped, and then if you pull in the crown again, it's
I will do this.
immediately starting again without losing precision.
Watch here what's happening if I push in the crown. 2.5 hertz,
2.5 hertz.
18,000 semi-oscillations. It's what I call the big block movement, because these 2.5 hertz are relaxed. It's a relaxed way of ticking, 2.5 hertz, big block movement. We do have a column wheel, of course, that is in charge to activate and disactivate the chronograph functions.
And you can nicely, if you activate the push pieces, you can nicely see how it works together. The column wheel, which is controlling all this chrono functions.
I will do
and
this.
It's clear from the beginning, when the movement designer starts thinking about, he has to think about the precision and the functionality, but even for aesthetics of the movement, I think you can easily see the result, how beautiful this movement is. In total, this movement contains 684 components, and everything is carefully finished by hand, and that's why you did see this beauty in the movement.
This was the flyback function I was activating. And then you can clearly see that there is a little nose picking up the information and then transferring the information to the chronograph central wheel. And the chronograph central wheel then is connected and the chronograph starts to run. Did I say this correctly?
Correct.
Ah, I did it. Well, it's not obvious. This is a nice view now on the movement. Beautifully, and look at this cage, the tourbillon cage, how beautifully it is turning. How long does it take a watchmaker to assemble such a watch? We were talking about 600 and something.
684 components for each movement, and with 2 watchmakers who will be then doing this task, I think we need 2.5 years to fabricate this 50 pieces limited edition. And you can see it even on this prototype there on the case, you see 0050. Yes, we will be only able to do 50 in 2.5 years. Yeah. It's so complex for the watchmaker to do.
Prototype. This prototype, of course, will stay at Lange, will not be sold. Will go to the museum one day. And the limitation is not an artificial limitation. It's more or less, Lange doesn't want to make those who buy or order a watch wait longer than 2.5, 3 years.
Exactly.
I think this is the reason. So if you are ordering one and then you have to wait for 5 or 6 years, maybe this is not so cool. So they said, okay, 50 pieces is feasible in 2.5 to 3 years. If there aren't any complications or any troubles, you never know, huh? Things can happen, but if one is chosen to be able to buy one, he will get his piece in about 2.5, 3 years from now on.
The last one, yes.
Yeah, the last
it's clear we have more good watchmakers, but if you look to our collection, you see that we have many very nice and complicated movements at the same time in production. That's why I have to be a little bit careful with doing promises.
And you see, I was turning the watch around and I didn't see, but I could see from the wheels that the chronograph hand will swipe over the dial. By the way, it's swiping over the dial in the speed of 1/5 of a second. This is why this looks a little bit different to several other chronographs you might have seen already. This is old-fashioned. It is it's displaying 1/5 of a second on the dial, and the higher the oscillation rate is, of course, the smoother the chronograph hand will swipe over the dial. This is not a flaw. This is how it is. This is the old way. I said it, big block movement, like a V8, and yeah, that's how it is. And then we also have to talk about the case. It's honeymoon.
Just wanted to add, it's not only this triple complication. If you look to the case, you see it's an own color of this gold. It's our own gold alloy we developed a few years ago, and this execution we did with our honey gold. And it's really in between of yellow gold, white gold, pink gold, and fits very well to the different skin colors, and is at least twice as hard as the normal gold in terms of vicars, to have a longer time at beauty because it's more scratch resistant than the normal gold watches.
Honey gold, a dedicated gold Lange developed for its watches, and it is being used for some of the pieces they have been doing, but it's not
only for limited editions.
Only for limited editions, exactly that. And then please explain me, Timo, the Lumen. Lumen is something you started doing a couple years ago.
First Lumen watch was at site work. It was 2010, and we had the idea to show a little bit what's happened underneath the dial normally. What means there's a sapphire crystal plate. It is semi-transparent with a PVD coating. The idea was to have a very, very nice balanced face of the watch, and to show a little bit better sometimes some indications. So there is superluminova used. It is this white or sometimes a little bit green shimmer superluminova C1 which is used, and it's charged by the UV light, even through the sapphire crystal dial. So even if something is jumping, then if it's charged before, if it's not in the dark, you are able to see immediately the.
So wearing the watch during the day, these discs will be charged because, as Timo just said, the dial is transparent, UV light gets through and is charging the superluminova also of the date discs. Of course, these are charged, and the ring is also charged. You will see this in our Lume shot. And the moon, I think, is also charged with superluminova. So.
And the hand and a few obliques have just a small point, really, to have a good legibility. And it's really fast, a little bit playing with with the private sphere, because the owner of the watch, he can look inside, he sees a little bit of the mechanism. If you look from the other side of the conference table or in the airplane from the other side, you just see a gray or grayish dial, and just the owner of the watch has the privilege to look in and to see that.
Yeah, delivering some exciting views, and there you go, you do have the Lume shot. So now everything is preset. We will show you the instantaneous jumping of all the indications of 31st. We'll go to the 1st of April because we have been presetting the watch on March. It is Sunday. And as you see, the blue scale, night is coming. You see here, blue is appearing. That means the night sky. And it's 7, it's 8 o'clock, it's 9 o'clock. And now watch the indications. They will, at midnight, instantaneously all jump. It's 11 o'clock now. Please look, 31st. Look at the March and look at Sunday. And once I pass, you see, it is April, it's Monday, and it is the 1st. Instantaneously, everything was changing. And we are now coming to the morning. You will see that the blue disk starts to disappear. The white disk comes along, and that shows you that we are having 6 o'clock in the morning, 7, 8, 9, and so on. So day is back, and I will set the watch back. It smiles at you And this is how it looks like. Gorgeous. Wow. So cool. And I do want to show you a little bit also the changing digits. I will use the corrector, and then when I push on it, you will see that the discs are now starting to display all the numbers. And as we said before, blank for the first. So there's no 0 here. You have the first. And I will now quickly run you through the second. And since this is the all-over corrector, you will also see, this is what Tino explained before, if you need to do some adjustments after you have not been using the watch, you do see, once I press here, the date is also changing, the date is changing, the day is changing, and the moon phase is changing. And once I have been running you through the entire April, you will see that the hand indicating April will also swap to May. So start or continue watching. You will see we are now, the moon phase comes back, 23rd and so on. And now, 28, 29, and you saw, there you are. Now we are in May, it's the 1st of May, and all the indications meanwhile have been, I don't know if we did preset the moon phase correctly, so don't blame me if the 1st May, it's not full moon, but yeah, okay, but you know what I mean. You press the button, you have that total corrector, but as Tino said before, it only works if the crown is in the first position. So when I push in the crown, the corrector does not work, you see? I can press on it and nothing happens. That's the security Tino was talking about first. You have that security. And if you need to do the presetting for the perpetual calendar, you do use the various little correctors that are integrated in the case to preset everything. And then once you have done this, you are able to always do the corrections by pulling out the crown, first position, then you can do these corrections. And you always have displayed the correct date, month, and so on. And of course, also the indication of the leap year. Of course, also to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Datograph, there is a less expensive and less complicated version. It's still a super complication, and it's still a super chronograph, and it is still a beautiful chronograph. But of course, they have done a second one, limited to 125 pieces. And on your screen, you see the new Datograph movement that had its debut, I think, in 2012.
Exactly. 2012, second generation of Datograph with a little bit longer power reserve, extended to 60 hours. And we'll see it later with an indication of the power reserve. But first of all, you see this beautiful movement with 451 components, carefully finished by hand. Column wheel chronograph.
Here's the column wheel. You have seen it before. Same here. You have a column wheel. You have a lever. When I press on the start-stop push piece, the lever is turning the column wheel. Forgive me the reflections, but I think it's the best way of showing it is in this way. And you can see when I push, the lever is turning the column wheel, and the little nose picks up the information, transfers it to the chronograph central wheel, and actually, as you see here, it is turning, and the chronograph, when I turn it around, and now comes the surprise, new dial color. This is a white gold case.
First time white gold case combined with wonderful blue dial.
It's not the blue that you are seeing on the platinum pieces. It is a new blue, and I think the blue is linked to white gold now.
It's the blue linked to white gold, but it's our typical Lange gold. Even you can find it in Odysseus, for example. And it fits beautiful to the white gold, as you see here.
And what Timo was talking before about, this is the power reserve indication, with the indication of up, meaning in German down, and auf, meaning up. So it is fully wound. You have the arrow here pointing at auf, means up. So it's fully loaded. And once the little arrow reaches the red zone, then it's time to wind the watch again. Most likely would be a good idea if you do. Also, this is also a flyback chronograph. You see a Datograph flyback. So what you can do is, as we just showed it to you with the masterpiece, you can reset at any time. I'm doing this, and you see the chronograph immediately restarts, and also the 30-minute counter was reset to 0. See, whenever I do this, you can restart. Of course, you can stop it and reset it. This is how you would do it normally, but with a flyback function, you can directly operate the push piece at 4 o'clock and it will reset the functions. Running second is here. Big date indication, and you do have the corrector of the big date indication here. So once you press, you are moving the digits, and the same here. 30, 31st, and now you will see blank and 1. So this is the first, the second, and so on. And once we got to the 10th, there will be a 1 appearing. That is happening now, and now we are on the 10th, and so on. So this is how they have been executing it. And I like this, that there is only a 1 and not a 0, 1, because we are not talking about the 01st of a month, but the first. And so it is logical not to have a 0, but okay, this is, I have, yeah, that's how it is. That's 20th, and so on, as we come back to the 28th. For instance, that's the nice display of the 28th or whatsoever. Complexity of this movement is not less than the other one. It's some parts are missing, but end of the day, this is as complex as the other one.
Stays a challenge for the watchmaker to put all these 451 components together, and we managed to have this diameter of only 41 millimeters with a thickness of 13.1.
Thickness, 13.1 millimeter, but this is, who cares about the thickness here? It is a datograph, and if you look here and you do see this big cinema on the wrist, you don't care if it is a little bit thicker or not, because this is really not important in this case. And once again, guys, you have to make it happen that one can wear the watch like this. Look, this will be the ideal way of wearing the watch, because then you can directly, instead of reading the time, you just watch this cinema, this this is so beautiful. I could watch and stare at this movement for hours and hours, and there will be something to discover. And look at all the details, how they are finished. This is really, how long does it take to finish all the different parts?
In total, if you work on this from the parts production to the finishing, you need in total maybe 6 months to come to the end with all the tests, with all the quality tests. I had the pleasure once to see one collector wearing the watch with inverse mounted bracelet on it. Or let's see, it was a friend of the brand. It was really stunning.
He really did it?
He really did it. And
oh,
I asked
wow.
how you do to have the time indication. He said, oh, I have my mobile phone.
Very cool. It was not me, but I would do the same. This is the front dial with that beautiful blue. You see here the stitching perfectly matches. This is really how one should do a chronograph. And I can tell you guys, there is not another chronograph on the market. And you can trust me, I've seen lots of them that is so beautiful as the Lange Datograph. This is the epitome. This is the top of the pyramid concerning chronographs. And all the others, yeah guys, try to make it better, and then let's see if it is at that level. Lange Söhne is doing it since 1999, 25th anniversary of the Datograph, being celebrated by their chronograph limited to 125 pieces, and the honeygold version with, in the execution, Lumen. And you have both of the stars. I have to hold it. You have both of the superstars on your screen. And I can tell you, collectors are trying everything to persuade the big boss here, Wilhelm Schmidt. Can I get one, please? Can I get one, please? I can hear them literally begging to be one of those who get one. And yeah, we have to name a price. Can we name the prices of the watches?
Just around, not finally fixed, but around 125 and around 620,000 euro.
125,000 euro including taxes, and around 620,000 euros including taxes. So that's something, but I can tell you, if you are a collector, if you have the money, and this is a watch that, yeah, the money is not a problem here. It's more the problem to get one, I would say. Timo Bove, head of the manufacturing in La Suite. Thank you very much for assisting me a little bit for the presentation. I'm glad I had you.
It was a pleasure, Alexander.
Yes, and I hope we ran you through with all the pictures, exciting pictures, and yeah, WatchAdvisor is the place to be for such adventures. Stay tuned on our channel, and thanks for watching the 25th anniversary of the Datograph. Bye, guys.